UDC.
As I started the company, I really had no doubt that it's going to be a success because I measured the success very differently at that point for myself. Having been through quite a bit by that point in the GIS business and having been part of a publicly traded company, I viewed success a little bit differently, and I was pretty confident that I would achieve it. I started with the GIS business some 44 years ago. But when I left the last job, we ended up getting bought out by different companies over the years. The last company that owned the company I was with purchased us was a publicly traded company. Things didn't go very well. So as I left that organization, there were a lot of lessons learned. Rachel and I registered UDC with the state of Colorado back in May 5th of 2005 in Castle Rock, just down the road from here. I viewed success for UDC at that point to be to do things in a way that brings a lot of value to my clients. So that was, in my mind, that was the cornerstone that we had to make a difference. So I knew myself and the folks that I was going to bring in right away that's going to be our focus. What I didn't want to do is apologize for the quality of our work, of our team to do such a great job that we never have to apologize for our craft. That I took very seriously. As a result, I was very confident that we can do this and we can accomplish that. It was never about financials, it was never about making, growing this huge company or whatever. That was not the focus. The focus was really on the quality of work that we do. Not having chased the financials, that was also lessons learned from the previous organization I was with, that by doing good work, by working with good people, the financials is just a byproduct of the first two things. If you can do that, everything else is going to take care of itself. So that's what gave me a lot of confidence that we'll have nothing but success. So there was never any fear of failure. So yeah, that's how we got started. That was the foundation. It's incredible that it has been 20 years. It feels like 20 hours sometimes, but it's gone quite fast, at times challenging, but I absolutely consider this a huge blessing in my life, having been able to do this and then being able to work with the team that I work with every day. It's just been such a blessing for me. No regrets, nothing but excitement. So it's been wonderful. One of the things that I came in with is really understanding the GIS technology, and I was very excited about the technology. What we learned the first few years was that becoming passionate about the workflows, the utility workflows, and the impact that the technology has on the workflows and how utilities do their business. That was the light that went on for me. It's like, okay, I understood it from a technology perspective. Now I appreciate it even more from a platform that we can execute at a whole different level. And that's the passion that a lot of our team has as well. So I think that has been driving us. So we're at a point where we are recognized as a very effective systems integrator around energy delivery and resource management. And that's the theme that we want to continue moving forward with. So in the years to come, and I'm hoping that with the technology ever changing, we stay focused on what we do to advance the cause and the work that our utility partners do. What I'm most proud of, and I'm sure a lot of people within our team, if not all, feel the same way, is the work that we have accomplished. If you look at that board Those are different utilities that I've had the honor of being on their team and working with them and being part of their mission. And I know a lot of UDC folks feel the same way, that that's a huge accomplishment for us to be considered part of our client's team as a partner, not just as a vendor. To me, that's been the biggest single point of accomplishment, because we didn't chase a project, but we chased partnership with our clients. And you see that in our growth, because a lot of our growth is due to repeat business. You don't do that unless you do great work, and that's really the work that our team has been doing. So very grateful for that. The need for energy is not going to diminish. It's just going to explode. So from that perspective, we are in the right market at the right time, because our know-how, our solutions advance that cause to bring efficiency to utilities, ensure safety and reliability to the system. So all of the things that we're doing, I see that is going to become essential for all utilities across the globe as critical a factor to move forward with. And I think that's where we're going to bring a lot of value. The other part, that we're not just technology experts, but we are also data experts, utility data experts. That really differentiates UDC from other SIs. To me, that's a big deal, that you can implement any technology, the world-class technology, and it can be fully integrated. The system can be world-class advanced, but if you don't have the data to drive it, that system is not going to produce what you're looking for. So having the know-how around systems integration, but also having that understanding of utility data, how it's used, how it's created, how it's leveraged, that's what we bring to the table. And I think that's going to be a big difference maker for us the next 5 to 10 years.